Okay. Welcome everybody to Spark Health, my first group, and we are going to have some serious fun today, just getting to know each other a little bit and talk a little bit about functional medicine. I've spent a good chunk of my career in functional medicine since chiropractic school, actually. When functional medicine was barely even called functional medicine, it was discovered, or it was invented, if you will, created by a guy by the name of Dr. Jeffrey Bland. He was a biochemist and he worked under Linus Pauling. And if that name means nothing to you, Linus Pauling is the discoverer of vitamin C. So very entrenched guy in terms of biochemistry and research and physiology. And Dr. Bland basically looked at our healthcare system over 30 years ago. If you think about it, it's been a long time. It's 35 to 40 years ago, and said, this doesn't work. This isn't working. A lot of what we had even 40 years ago, right? This is 1980s. What we had even then was chronic disease starting to show up. And the medical model was starting to really start creating drugs for these new diseases. And it all stemmed from antibiotics. And antibiotics, I mean, if you go back in history just a little bit, antibiotics saved thousands and thousands of soldiers as they started coming on in 1920s and 30s and 40s, a little bit of World War I, boom, World War II. And that was great. It saved tons and tons of lives because those little bacteria can kill people. And when they get into wounds of people who are damaged, they really kill people fast. And so that was a great idea, right? We have a drug for a bug. Works great. So why not a pill for an ill? When people started dying of heart disease, well, what's the problem? Oh, we're getting plaques. Well, what's in the plaque? Oh, cholesterol is in the plaque. So high cholesterol must be the problem. Instead of backing up and saying, well, wait a minute, why is the body creating that much cholesterol? What is that all about? They just decided, nope, we're gonna rip out cholesterol. So some of those drugs started coming around. High blood pressure, another thing. Our blood pressure is supposed to go up and down. If you took my blood pressure right now, it would probably be through the roof. I'm nervous, I'm excited, I'm presenting in front of people I've never met, not really. And so yes, your blood pressure is supposed to go up in times of stress. It's also supposed to come down in about an hour and a half, right? When I'm done and I take a deep breath and I sit down on the couch for a little while, it will come down. Physiology seems to have gotten lost in profit. And so the medical model is trying to treat disease with acute medicine. And it doesn't really work. And now we're fast forward 40 years, we're here, right? And fast forward 40 years and chronic disease is really what's killing everybody. And chronic disease is not something that happens like an auto accident, right? It doesn't just smack you. It takes years and years and years to create. And most of the time, it's not one incident that starts the domino effect. For some people it is, but that's more rare. It's usually 2 or 3 triggers that start the dominoes falling. And so when you can kind of grab that and understand that, that's going to help you understand that there's a big gray area between health and sick. And so some of you have seen, let me make sure does that look okay to you guys? I don't know what it looks like to you. Can you see it okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Because y'all know, if you don't know, I really love my whiteboard. So if we have health over here, and we have sick over here, right? There's a chasm here that has to be crossed for most people to really get super sick. in this chasm, I call this the I feel like crap. Maybe it's not crap, maybe it's something else, but that's my word. I call this the I feel like crap zone, right? This is where you have no energy, your stomach is upset all the time, you have high blood pressure and low blood pressure and high blood sugar and low blood sugar, you're sweating, you're freezing, your night sweats, you're hot flashing, whatever. That's what's happening into here. You're getting all these symptoms. And when you go to your doctor and you say, well, I have hot flashes, he gives you a pill. He'll give you some estrogen, hot flashes go away. Oh, okay, must be that. Right? And then you go back and like, well, I have high blood pressure now because now you're on estrogen. Oh, well, here you go. And by the time people are 65 years old, they're on 11 medications. And that's average. And that's an old statistic. And so that doesn't get us here though, right? Because if you didn't have all these pills covering up the symptoms, what's happening underneath? Your estrogen is still going to be out of whack. Your blood pressure is still not going to be healthy. Your cholesterol, if you take a cholesterol lowering medication, inflammation is going to pop up somewhere else. So you're still not really healthy or vital, right? Whatever word you want to put in there. What's another word? What words would you guys think of, ladies? You can unmute yourself if you want.
I don't know, maybe thriving?
Thriving? This is a really good word, right? I've kind of, those of us are in the biz, like we coined the word thrival, right? Versus survival. Because when we're here, this is just survival, right? This is just on this side of the grave. This is just upright every day, sort of, part of the day. This is how I live most of the time, frankly. Now, I've had my challenges over the last year, if you paid attention, and I come clean. So 20% of patients don't believe that their healthcare providers actually focused on health. 20%, not even focused on health. 74% of patients put off seeing their provider when they're dissatisfied. So they don't even go back. 66% of patients believe their doctors don't help their patients manage chronic illness effectively. And so we need a different perspective, right? And a lot of you came to me because you needed a different perspective. And it can be your last resort. I've been told I am the doctor of last resort. And so we'll take Betty. Betty's a CEO. She came to me with psoriasis, which is like a skin disorder, if you don't know what it is. Hashimoto's, which is a low thyroid autoimmune disorder. So psoriasis is also autoimmune. Brain fog, she's in her 50s, right? So she's already through menopause, brain fog and exhaustion. And, you know, her doctors have been telling her, hang on, one more in. Brenda. Hang on, we got. Yay, Brenda.
Hi, I made it.
She's one of our Pacific Coast ladies.
Oh.
Hello, I apologize.
Oh, don't even. I was just going through like chronic disease and some statistics. And I think you and I have talked about like the difference between health and sick. You may have seen it before. So just to catch you up, and this is being recorded so you can go back and watch. And I was just talking about one of my patients named Betty, who had a couple of different autoimmune disorders, a lot of fatigue and some brain fog. And what we discovered was she didn't need to be on estrogen, but she was drinking about a pot of coffee a day. She was sleeping about 4 hours a day, and nobody even asked. and she was eating 1 meal a day. And so when you put all, and she's a CEO of a company, like when you put all of that together, this is what we do, right, ladies? We get up, we get our kids off, we get our husbands, our dogs, whatever we got, whatever our responsibilities are, right? Those tend to come first. And then if we have time, we'll throw some tuna fish in a to-go container if we're lucky, and head out the door. And if we're not, we come home hangry and irritable, and we're at our family's throats because we didn't take time for ourselves. And we're really mad at ourselves, not them. And then the snowball, right? And it just snowballs to the place where Betty is, where she's like almost not functional and she's trying to run a company. And okay, so then you have to step back and look at your whole life, not just change your habits. But the whole point of the group is to help you look at all of those icky parts. Okay. And like I said before, I can be completely transparent. This has been a rough year for me. My mom moved in and she's 90. She has dementia, not something I ever expected to be handling, ever. And so when we come to this place where we have expectation for what our life is going to look like. I've got 2 teenagers. They're almost out of the house. I was going to be alone. Yes. And now not so much. So when we bump up against our expectations and reality, and they look completely different. Ever been in that place, ladies? How about just the pandemic? Mm-hmm. Right? That put a whole bunch of stuff in different perspective for us. Or we're just out there resisting it still. Or we're getting angry at the television, regardless of what news show you're watching. This is a normal part of the interagency. Right? And we use our energy in ways that create more sickness and leave us over here and not here. And I had turned into Betty, basically. I wasn't eating right. I was exercising. When I would eat, it was always healthy. But it wasn't enough, and it wasn't right, and it wasn't supporting the stress level that my body was under. So about 6 or 8 weeks ago, I shifted and realized that if I can shift, anybody can shift. I thought I knew everything. Ha! I hired a new coach. Somebody with a different perspective. So I want to congratulate all of you for joining the group, for taking on a new perspective of how you can do your health and do it together with a group of people, supporting each other, loving each other, having a positive mindset. And if you need a place to vent, throw a post in the group, right? Just sit down and bang it out. Throw it up and let it go. My husband, blah, 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 whatever. My dog, blah, 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 whatever. Right? We all have stuff. It's fine. So I want to, I'd love to go around. I want each of you to tell me who you are, tell me where you live, and tell me what you feel like one of the most important things that you're going to get out of the group. It doesn't have to be too personal if you don't want to. I'm going to tell you though, we're going to get personal. I'm going to get personal. I'm not always going to show up looking like this. So sometimes it might be a ball cap and sweaty and hey, or maybe I'll get dressed up, right? But I don't want you to feel like you have to show up in any way. I want this to be relaxed. I want you to be able to find a place to heal. And it may take, like, you may have a big bag of stuff on your shoulder that you're carrying around. And I want you to be able to lay it down and open it up and take some of that stuff out of your bag and deal with it. Because your own expectations versus reality They'd be very different. And when we're in this resistance against what is, it's very draining for us. And when we just hit some of those things, you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad. Right? People like gluten-free. Oh gosh, right? Okay, I just watched all your faces go, oh, what? Right? Gluten-free, what? Okay, you can do this, right? Or you can go, okay, how do we do this? Because there's lots of easy ways to do it. And that may or may not be part of your plan. Not sure. Okay. We're gonna have some fun though. So I will either pick somebody if somebody doesn't speak up. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I'll make it
Okay.
easy.
Thanks, Brenda. Tell us about
Okay.
you.
My name is Brenda Robinson, and I live in Los Angeles, California. And I apologize to everyone for being late. I'm an attorney, and I was in court this morning. And of course, this is the day my judge is late. She, I only had a couple of cases on, and I could have been done, but she's late. So anyway, I found Chris through, I'm married. I have 2 young adult kids, and we all are under our one roof right now, but it's all good because we like each other and we're enjoying it. So we're good there. I came to Chris because through my professional coach, Julie, and I'm really grateful because I have not felt well. I and I'm just turned 64, and I told Chris that it's just going to go downhill from there. It's not like I'm going to get more, it's like if I feel bad now, if I don't change something, I'm just going to continue to feel worse as I age. And I have a really bad arthritic knee, and I love to work out and exercise, as you can see by my machine back here that I haven't used because my knee's been so bad. So I called Chris really kind of out of desperation, and I've always had gut. And so I just want to feel better, lose weight, and feel better. That's really everything. So, I'm not dealing with arthritis and the issues that go along with that. I don't have to have knee surgery or anything like that. So that's pretty much it.
You had, do you want to, so how long, we've been working together for a month?
Maybe a little longer than a month. Yeah. But about 5 weeks, maybe. Yeah.
And how are things going?
It's been great. It took me a little time to get started. There was the resistance of ordering the stuff and, my sluggage, like, okay. But once I put on my head to do it, I've lost 6 pounds so far, and I'm just about the end of my first smoothie regime, and I feel so much better. But the biggest thing is that I don't have my arthritic knee pain anymore. And it's just been I really would say 3 good solid weeks of just sticking to the program, eating the Renew diet and everything. And, so I'm just pleased. And actually I'm down another pound. So I'm now 7 pounds down since starting this. So very excited. And I don't have, and just also too, I just feel better. I have more energy. I'm sleeping better. So I'm just overall, so I'm excited to see what's going to happen in like 3 months, 6 months. Like, whoa, I'm just probably going to go like climb a mountain or something.
Well, thank you, Brenda. I appreciate that. We have a couple of you'll find in our group that we have a couple of other people who've been with me just a short amount of time. So some of you are just getting started, or some of you are in process. In the next month or so, we'll all end up kind of at the same place. So, all right, who's next? Should I pick on somebody? Y'all are going to go, all of you. All right, Karen, let me unmute you. Unmute yourself. There you go.
Okay, my name's Karen. I live in West Chicago, Illinois. and which is near Glen Ellen, where Dr. Sargent's office is. I've known Dr. Sargent probably way back when I went to her for chiropractic service. And I am retired as of December 31st of 2020. I have two elderly parents living with us. My father is 92 and my father-in-law is 87. So last year I started getting sick. I'm in that on the board, I feel like crap. That's where I am right now. I've had stomach issues. Last year I had knee surgery, which it's coming back, whatever it is, it's coming back. And I have an appointment to see the orthopedic man. So, and that's where I am. I'd like to lose some weight and feel better. And I know Dr. Sargent can do it. So that's my story.
Thank you. Well, actually, Karen, I'm going to empower you because all I can do is give you the information, but you're actually going to do it.
Okay, I'm up. I'm ready. This is the year for me.
I know. I love that. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Jean, Jennifer, Jincy, we got 3 J's going here. All right, Jean.
Okay.
There you go.
My name is Jean. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're quiet though.
Yeah. And so I live in Lake Geneva. I was a Chicago native all my life. I moved here in Lake Geneva in February of 2020. I live here with my husband, dog, and cat. And I am a real estate broker by trade. And I moved here to Wisconsin with grandiose plans that I would, get all this business, and I haven't had any. I mean, I've had some, but so anyway, I have an autoimmune disease. I have thyroid issue. I have an issue with depression, and I don't go to bed till really late. And anyway, I met Dr. Chris on Facebook. For some reason, she showed up, and I watched it, and I was like, wow, she has more energy than anybody I know. I mean, you can just look at her and see it all. And so, yes, I'm looking for more energy. I'm looking for to feel better health-wise, and probably work on the depression.
Great. Thank you. And thanks for being open about that. It's not always easy. And depression, anxiety, mental illness is definitely a piece of what we all, particularly I think during the pandemic, we've all become a little bit more aware of how we feel and our own set of feelings. And definitely, people like Karen, when we're dealing with the elderly, there's a lot of depression there, and there's a lot of anxiety about taking care of them. And there's also some sadness and depression and grief that goes along with watching them. So you are I feel like, and most of I'm a pretty strong Christian. So, I just feel like God brings everybody together for a reason. And so just thank you for being honest and open there.
Sure.
All right, Jincy.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I am also a Christian, and I prayed a lot about it before joining this coaching. So I'm calling from Woodridge, Illinois, but I haven't lived here in quite some time. I work as a missionary, and so I had moved to India in 2012 to work with human trafficking victims, and met my husband there. we've actually been, my husband and I are on opposite sides of the world for the past year, because I got here right before COVID and he's stuck there. So they're not processing visas and stuff like that. So, and he's also a missionary. So we kind of get to do some of our work together. But yeah, I've been sick since 2013. It all started with a case of food poisoning. And then from there, it's just the symptoms just kind of added up. And I don't know, like all the symptoms that you guys were saying, I was like, yep, I have that. Okay, yeah, I have that too. So there's just, I mean, I was just starting to fill out the paperwork that Dr. Chris had sent, just listing the symptoms, and it's just going on. And I was like, this is not okay, so, but yeah, but by God's grace, been able to deal with it. And I have a really supportive husband and really supportive family. I'm staying with my parents here. Living alone is not an option for me right now. So it just wouldn't be safe. But yeah, so when you ask me what I have to deal with, I guess it's like from head to toe. Just, yeah, there's a lot there. So, but gone for different treatments. It'll work while I'm having the treatment, but then after that, I go back to the symptoms come back one by one. So I'm looking forward to this, and I do think that there's like a lifestyle change that needs to happen for me to figure out what's right for my body and then do that instead of just going with what I'm used to, or like blending in with the situation at hand, with the social situations at hand. I do realize that I need to make those changes that's right for my body. So I'm hoping that this will help with that. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. And thanks for all of your work. And I didn't really realize that your husband wasn't here too.
Yeah, we've been apart for a year now. Yeah, it's a year today, actually.
Ugh. Any ideas of him, this loosening up at all?
We're still waiting to hear back. So he hasn't even gotten his visa interview yet. So, and then it's been so long that we had to resubmit all the paperwork because everything expired. So, yeah.
Well, yes, Brenda, if you guys know how to do the chat, if you're familiar with it, there's a little chat button at the bottom and you can click on that and you'll get another little screen on there, and you can, it's like a messaging in between. So, yep. You have lots of strength, Jinsey, and that's what's going to get you through your healing.
Thank you.
So, and this is about transformation, right, ladies? This isn't about, that's why we do this for 6 months. We could do this in 6 weeks. I can teach you everything I know in pretty short amount of time. If you read my book, it's a 2-day read. I mean, it doesn't take long to impart the information. What takes a long time is us getting out of our own way and failing a few times before we really realize that, oh, this is something that I'm going to have to keep doing in order to stay and to keep healthy with where I really want to be. So, all right. Jennifer, Amy. All right, Amy, go for it. Oops, you need to unmute, hun. Let me see.
Oh, there we go.
There
okay.
you go. It's good. It's fine. Everybody's new on Zoom. It's
right.
all good.
All right, so I'll start over. My name is Amy Langgrader, and I do live in Wheaton, so I'm pretty close to the Glen Ellen office. I have a husband and 2 boys, 8th and 6th grade. They both play basketball, and baseball, so they kind of keep us busy. I was referred to Dr. Chris by my neighbor, who has been seeing her for a couple of years and had great success and really had a lot of kind words to say about Dr. Chris. I have tried a lot of diet programs. Last year I did like a shake and bar program with, Profile by Sanford. It's just a company that I went to. So I did that for a year. I lost 20 pounds. And then during summer in that 6 months until now, I've pretty much put it back on. So same thing, like I just don't feel 100%. I think I don't have a lot of energy. I tend to eat and snack after dinner. So it kind of defeats the purpose of trying to lose weight. So I think I was just wanting to go to Dr. Chris to see a different perspective. I mean, yeah, like everyone said, you have great energy. And just kind of being held accountable, like these weekly meetings, I think will help kind of remind myself what I'm here for. So I'm just kind of, just want to feel better, have more energy, lose some weight. So with everyone's help, I can do that.
Thank you. Thanks. Because things in your life will change when you have more energy, right? Like I understand baseball, basketball schedules. My son's wanted to be a Major League Baseball player since he was 3. So travel baseball and high school baseball starts this week.
Oh, wow.
Actually, it never ended from last summer. He took off November, I think.
Does he go to Glenbard West or?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. We have all our fingers and toes and prayers, all that kind of thing happening right now for Cooper, my Cooper.
Oh yeah, my Cooper too plays baseball.
That he will be on the varsity team.
Okay, nice.
He was able to
practice.
He got asked to practice. He asked to practice with them last year over the summer, which for a freshman almost never happens. And we're all just like holding our breath, like, please. So it's just, he works really hard. Anyway, you guys are going to hear way too much about Cooper, so we'll talk about him later. Jennifer, go ahead.
I hope my dog will be quiet. That's why I was waiting to go last. My name is Jennifer Marchese, and I live in Glen Ellen. I'm 56 years old, single, never been married, no children. I am a film director. I lived for over 20 years in Los Angeles. So Brenda, say hello to my favorite city on the planet. I actually was born and raised here in Chicago, but more or less moved back here because of my health issue. I've been healthier than a horse most of my life. And about 4.5 years ago, I developed a debilitating, I'm just going to call it a bathroom issue. We're all girls and we've all shared, Dr. Chris knows this. I spend from about 4 o'clock in the morning till noon in the bathroom every day in excruciating pain. I've been to Mayo Clinic, I've been to physical therapy, I've been to over 100 doctors, you name it, I've done it. So I believe, and I've always eaten healthy and taken vitamins and all that, but obviously there's something missing in my regime that's not helping me get better. Every doctor that I've seen, medical doctor, I guess you can call it, has pretty much said, learn to live with it. And I'm not going to buy that. I'm also have my minister's degree from Center for Spiritual Living, which is a worldwide organization. And it's very metaphysical, very Louise Hay. And I believe I am going to get better. And I believe that, I mean, come on, she's right here in Glen Ellen and, you know, it was meant to be. I actually Googled Dr. Chris after having a very bad experience with what kind of doctor was he?
Yeah, he practices functional medicine, sort of.
Functional, well, if you want to call it that. Some guy who basically told me to go blow after, again, seeing about 100 different people. So, yeah, so I've only been with Dr. Chris a couple of weeks, but very determined and very grateful to all of you ladies. And yeah, that's why I'm here.
Thanks, Jennifer. Your experience is going to come in handy too.
Yeah.
How's the lighting? Not too bad, right? For an amateur. I was so nervous, ladies, this morning because I know I have a director on with me. Anyway, so welcome. Thank you so much for being honest and open. It feels like we're all going to gel really well as we go through the group. If you haven't made your appointment with me for your initial visit, I think I'm aware. Let's see, Amy, Jean, I think Amy and Karen, I don't know if I have, Anyway, we will work through text and get that taken care of ASAP. And we'll just start working through what we're going to do. I'm going to put a few files up into the group. One is going to be the Renew diet. That is where many of you will start. It is a pretty strict elimination diet. It's not forever. It's not forever, right? We're going to work through Renew, and we'll work through Core, and we'll get you into something else down the road, some hybrid. And you may not lose weight right away. I know, Amy, that that's a big thing for you, but if your body needs to heal in order to actually lose, then you need to heal before you lose. That's one of the things that I'm learning. I'm working with a coach who has me eating more calories in a day than I was eating in 3 days.
Wow.
I know. And it was scary. It's scary for me. And I've lost 5 pounds. So it's not always about in and out. It's about what's going in and what's going out. And how is it going in and how is it going out? And have you restricted and restricted and restricted to the point where your metabolism is just shut down? Because if that's so, then we have some healing to do before your body's going to release that, because it thinks you're starving. Yes, ma'am. Ask questions.
I'll tell you, the Renew is really hard for me because I'm a snacker, and it doesn't give you space to snack. Although Dr. Chris and I talked about having vegetables around, and then now she let me add a little mini hummus to it. And so I think some of it psychologically, I use food for comfort. I know I did, and continue to. And so I feel like my biggest challenge continues to be just not cheating on Renew. Like, if it says I can have 6 nuts, eat 6 nuts and not 10, or so I'm having my challenges with it, but I'm really just trying to keep, I'm trying to track my food as well, so that when I write it down, but sometimes I don't care. Okay, I'm gonna write down I ate 10, but I'm trying to change my mindset. So I'm looking forward, and challenge me on that. You guys ask, oh, how you do? But I wanted to just share the challenges I'm having on Renew. So
yeah, Renew is hard. Renew is not easy. I'm not going to stand here and tell you that it's easy, but it's not forever. And I think, we'll know. That's why we have the one-on-ones, the private one-on-ones, because I've needed to tweak her stuff. There's a place where it's not right at all, and we need to tweak and tweak until it's right for you. And that's the beauty of this hybrid model of some one-on-one time and then some group, right? So I'll put the Renew up, I'll put Core up, so you can kind of know, like, oh, okay, Renew isn't forever. So Core will go up. Renew is basically grain-free, dairy-free. So if you're used to eating any kind of grains, oatmeal, rice, bread, that gets wiped off the table. And so now you're leaning into sweet potatoes and winter squashes and baked potatoes and more vegetables for those more complex carbohydrates. But also with those vegetables comes a lot more nutrients and a lot more fiber. So then your system, those are the types of fibers that your good bugs start to eat. And then we start to change how our belly is working. So there's reasons for that, why we do what we do. And we're going to go into more of that definitely as we move forward in our sections. I want to get back to this for a minute, because we've got you all sick and barely surviving over here, right? That's where so most of you are right now. And I just want you to know that when we do our labs and we do your long history that Jinsey was referring to, when we do these things, I get to know about you. And I can take this data, right? And we can make a plan around what we eat, what we drink, how we move, how we sleep, and what Brenda just mentioned, how we think and feel. And I think with this group, this is a big deal, right? We're all emotional eaters. Guilty, right? So what do we need to do? And this is sort of rhetorical at this point, but what are the things that we need to do instead of eating? There's a million things to do besides eat. There's a million things to do besides eating your way through your emotions. It's actually like a strikeout baseball fan, right? It's like it's a strikeout, right? It's 3 strikes against you. You feel bad about whatever's going on, right? We'll just take my mom, right? I get frustrated with her. I go to the pantry. I grab a couple of cookies or the bag of chips. Usually it's the chips, salty, crunchy. Anyone? I dig in. I feel bad in 2 ways. Mentally, because I know that that's not appropriate way to handle my frustration. And physically, because I ate too much. 3 strikes against me right there. When I could have taken that frustration, put on my hat and boots, and today snow pants and 4 other layers, because it's like -12. Yeah, okay, Brenda, I kind of don't like you right now. LA. Anyway, I know, kidding. And so I can get all that stuff on and I can go take a walk. I can go down in the basement and pick up a couple of Cooper's baseballs and throw it at the strike wall. I can pick up my medicine ball, slam it to the ground a couple times. Medicine ball's cheaper than food, and feel better after. Not striking myself out. So some homework through the week. If you want some homework for the week, I think homework through the week is good. Like, what are some things that you can do besides dig into whatever your favorite food is? And don't think you're never going to have pizza again. Don't think you're not going to be able to go to the movies and eat an entire large thing of popcorn by yourself ever again, because you will. You'll be able to do that. Just not right now. Maybe not the large. Maybe a doggy bag full. Right? And we can plan for those. I think, so one of my really bad addictions is popcorn. It doesn't have to be good. Like, that's how you know you're addicted, right? Like, the alcoholic will drink anything with alcohol in it. They don't care. I don't care if popcorn's good. It's popcorn. So in order for me to get unaddicted, many, many years ago, it was probably it was like 1997, 98, someplace right in there, was I decided, because I was eating a bag of microwave popcorn when it first, right? That was when it started, right? Every night. Like, that was dinner and microwave popcorn. Sit on the couch. And I knew this is not healthy. This is just not good. So I'm like, okay, I can have microwave popcorn, a bag all to myself on Fridays. Regardless of what would happen during the day, I knew I was using it for emotional health. Right? Regardless of what would happen during the day, I'm like, okay, I can have it on Friday. Right? And the Thursday rolls around, Friday rolls around, Saturday would come, I'd be like, oh, forgot. Okay, next Friday. It literally did not take me more than 2 or 3 weeks to get it completely under control, because I wasn't depriving myself. I'm allowing it, but I'm delaying gratification. And delay of gratification, ladies, is something we were supposed to learn in kindergarten. And if we didn't learn it then, we get to learn it now. So that's just one thing that you can do. So that's part of your homework this week, is to come up with things that will work for you, whether it's a delay of gratification, whether it's taking a walk, whether it's running up and down the stairs a couple times, maybe not with all the knee things I'm hearing, but getting outside. I know here it's supposed to be like minus degrees and barely above freezing over the next 2 weeks, but I have a giant dog. He can't poop in the living room. So we got to go outside. Because ladies, his poop is bigger than yours. So I have a pair of I have long johns on. I had snow pants on. I had long john, like a shirt, long john. I had a big fleecy thing. I had an under thing that I used for skiing, and then my ski coat and boots. These guys. And we went to the dog park today. And it was, I also had like one of those things that like does that. It's like all one piece and you look like a robber, and a hat. We went to the dog park. I was sweating. So we cannot use this weather as an excuse to not get outside. Walk in the snow, even if it's just around your house. It's safer than the sidewalks most of the time. And it's good for your legs. It makes you use more muscles. So there's your pep talk for the week. Questions, comments, concerns, what do I need to do different? And thank you for all of your grace. This is my first group. I'm so excited. And I know that my processes are kind of wonky right now. I can see the need for a virtual assistant right now. So that's okay. Once I get it all lined out, I will hire somebody and then things will run smoothly. So thank you for the glitches and stuff for right now. We'll get there, I promise. It's all new for me. So we're going to be able to change these things along with adding some supplements that are specific for you and some goals that are specific for you. And we can move you back over into this pool of health. And I like to think about it because I really don't like the cold weather. Some people really love the mountains and the cold weather. I'm not that girl. So I like to think about this health column like a sandy beach with palm trees. That's where I want to go. You can make your health picture whatever you want it to be. So that can be another piece of homework. What are some things that you would like to see? How can you see yourself on the other side of this healthy thing? How do you see yourself? What are you doing? Are you traveling? Are you more comfortable in your skin and your clothes? One of the things that I loved when I finally hit my goal weight was I can walk into just about any place and I know exactly what size jeans I wear. And more often than not, I can pull them on and zip them up. And for a curvy girl like me, that's a big deal. Because I am curvy. You can only see the top half, but we'll have to do the bottom half some other day. But I am curvy. Let me see. I don't even know. Let me see. Yeah, curves. Right? Not skinny mini, not perfect at all. So that was one of the things that makes me feel really good about the work that I've done and the work that you're going to do. So second piece of homework is, what are some things that you're going to be able to do that you can't do now? What is your life going to look? How is it going to look different when you finally got this food thing under control? When you finally got this emotional eating under control? Like, it's not genetic. It's a habit. Our habits run us if we let them. And when we can become really aware of what the habits are, we can really shift them fast. You don't even realize that probably every single day, your day is run by your habits. Karen, yours are probably just disrupted because you retired, right? And so you like everything's kind of jumbled. It's like when you move, right? You can't find anything. Like all your habits are different now because you're not like, get up, go to work, do the thing, right? But now you can become aware of what are some new things to put into place. It's like you have a new floor plan. It's like taking all your furniture out of your living room and forcing yourself to find a different way to put it back in. So that can be another piece. Like what is this going to look like when this is all done for you? When you're down at a very different place on the journey. And not just I feel better, right? More than that. All right, questions, comments, concerns, and I'm going to shut up for a minute.
The last thing you said broke up. I'm sorry, didn't hear it.
Oh, I just said that just becoming aware of your habits, and then what do you want your life to look like? What's going to change? What are you going to do? What can look different at the end of the 6 months? Like, what can you do different? You know, I had a client who really wanted to hike the Grand Canyon. She was 295 pounds. And so losing 100 pounds was absolutely necessary for her to do that. I had another client who needed to lose 50 pounds so that she could go horseback riding in Tennessee because they wouldn't let her on horse because she's too heavy. So what are some of the things, because those are the things that allowed those clients to be pulled along, because one of them kept the Grand Canyon on her bathroom mirror, and the other one put a horse on her lock screen. And so she was always reminded, oh yeah, horseback riding. And in those moments that your hand is about to go into the Dorito bag or Tostito bag or whatever it is, cookies, Oreos, whatever your thing is, if you've got your horse or your Grand Canyon, or I'm going to link arm in arm with my husband, or I'm going to have a husband or a partner or a dog, I don't know. You know, what is that going to look like? And find a picture that represents that for yourself. It's something bigger than I just want to be healthy. Because if you just wanted to be healthy, you would already done that. All right, questions, comments, concerns? It's a hug for all of you.
I did have a question. So when it comes to like the eating plans and stuff like that, are we keeping accountability in the group? Is that how it works?
If you want to. Mm-hmm. I don't usually have patients, unless we really need to, like write stuff down. I think that it can be, I think it can be really beneficial to write stuff down and staying accountable. Or like Brenda, okay, I had 40 nuts today. Like we know that Brenda might have had a bad day that day. Right? So sure. Absolutely. This group is all about accountability. If you want to, you get to know somebody, you get to know people a little bit better. If you want to do some accountability, all I'm going to say about accountability is I want to make sure that you stay non-judgy about it. It's okay to say, yep, that's what you did. And then love the person anyway, right? We want this to be a supportive group. We're not going to get catty and mean and not going to do it. I'm the eternal optimist. If you haven't figured that out. Not that I don't have my down days, but it doesn't do any good to stay there.
Well, I'm looking forward to getting closer to everyone in the group and working this together. So thank you, Chris, Dr. Chris, I apologize, Dr. K.
This is fine. I'm not, whatever.
for I too believe that nothing happens by just because, and that God's brought us together for a reason. So I'm looking forward to what we can bring to each other in this process. So thank you.
Thanks, Brenda. I appreciate that. Any other questions for now? We have a group. I think I've got almost everybody except Karen. Somehow I'm not I don't know if I've got you on Facebook properly in terms of Facebook friends.
Okay.
But I think I've got everybody invited to the group, and it is a private hidden group. So nobody can really find us. It's really secret. And we'll keep it that way. Nobody else will join the group later. When I set up group number 2, they will have their own private hidden space. So it'll always just be us. Confidential, please. I don't think I have to say that, but I will. Yeah, just keep everything in the group.
So will we keep the same time, 10 o'clock 10 o'clock my time, the same time
on Fridays.
And
Yep.
it's every Friday. Is there a time that we won't get together because we have our private session with you, or is it going to be group and a private session?
It'll just be a group and a private if we can. I'd like to go through, I will promise to teach at least 3 out of 4 weeks, if not 4 out of 4 weeks of a month. But I will definitely be here the next 4 to 6 weeks on Friday because we have a lot to get started with.
And I'm sorry, one more question. How many times do we do our private? I forget. Like
once a month for 6 months.
Okay.
Yep. If you need something else, you all should have my cell phone. It's in the email that I sent yesterday. And I copied and pasted the email that I sent out a couple days ago to the Zoom in 30 minutes reminder today. So you should have all that information there. And the Zoom link doesn't ever change. It's always the same. It'll be the same for your privates. It'll be the same for the group. All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your love and consideration and your authenticity today. We will all stay here at the space, and we're gonna rock this thing over the next 6 months.
Thumbs up.
Victory. All right. Bye, ladies. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend.
Bye, ladies.
You have
Bye.
plenty of time to get ready to go. All right.
Thank you.